Have you ever heard the saying, any sufficiently advanced technology is indistinguishable from magic? The funny thing is, most technology stops feeling magical after a few weeks. Your laptop becomes a tool, your TV becomes furniture, your smartwatch becomes a screen on your wrist, but somehow, nearly 20 years later, people are still obsessed with the iPhone. And after spending a week at Apple Park during WWDC, I think I finally understand why. If you guys want a more in-depth video as to what it is like to be at Apple Park, just leave a hashtag Apple down below. And I'll make it for next Sunday. Don't forget to subscribe.
Looking forward to for 2.5 years.
When the iPhone was first launched, nobody knew they were witnessing one of the most important moments in technology history. Steve Jobs walked onto a stage and announced three revolutionary products: a widescreen iPod, a mobile phone, and an internet communicator. Except they weren't three products at all. They were one, the iPhone. At the time, nobody knew it, but that presentation literally changed the way billions of people communicate, work, learn, travel, date, shop, and capture memories. Today, there are more than 2 billion active iPhones around the world. And I want you to think about that for a second, because the iPhone didn't just create a whole new category, it absorbed entire industries. We use it as replacements for cameras sometimes. It's replaced GPS devices, replaced MP3 players, camcorders, flashlights, calculators, and even wallets are slowly disappearing because of it. And that's what really hit me while walking around Apple Park. As an Android fanboy, I've been reviewing phones for a while now. I've compared cameras, daily usability, batteries, AI features, but after standing there, surrounded by thousands of people using an iPhone, I realized something. The iPhone might be the most influential consumer product ever created.
Thank you. Be able to celebrate our award winners and our wonderful development here. Every hour, tens of thousands of students begin their journey.
Andres, of course there are so many iPhones everywhere. No. You guys don't get it. I've been to countless smartphone launches over the years, and no matter which company is on stage, you'll usually see a mix of devices in the crowd. Samsung users, Google users, Oppo users, iPhone users. But at WWDC, it felt completely different. Everywhere I looked, people were using iPhones. Not because they had to, but because they wanted to. And Apple's success has very little to do with the phone itself. Because if this was just about cameras, processors, or battery life, well, the Oppo Find X9 Ultra would be the only phone you would see in the crowd. In many ways, Android phones are better. To me, Android has better multitasking, more customization that allows my workflow to be a lot more productive, better AI, but yet, somehow, the iPhone continues to dominate. That's because Apple doesn't actually sell phones. Apple sells something much more powerful: belonging and status, which is something humans seek. We all want to be part of something, right? A football team, a car club, a running club, and we all want people to highly think of us, right? So think about it. People who buy iPhone, well, chances are they weren't comparing transistor counts, they weren't benchmarking CPUs, they weren't reading camera sensor specs. They bought an iPhone because they knew exactly what they were getting. Blue bubbles, family group chats, AirDrop, FaceTime with parents, AirPods, AirTags. For God's sakes, the iPhone has become so influential that it's shaping a new style on Instagram. To be honest, well, to a certain degree, as an Android fanboy, it does make me feel closer to friends and family, and it's not because the iPhone is a better phone, not at all, but it's because everyone I care about is on it. So Apple isn't selling a phone, they're selling connection, status, and belonging. And at events like WWDC, it's where you truly get to experience it. Okay, so Apple Park, this is like the big donut. And then if you go in there, you can like see the window. The window just shows you like the middle of the donut, which I don't think we can go there, but this is pretty cool. This is where WWDC happens. Usually for hardware, it happens somewhere else. Some of the people in our group have been telling me that usually for hardware, what ends up happening is that it happens at the Steve Jobs Theater, which is inside. Now this is outside, which is super cool because I guess we get to see a bit more of the building, if it makes sense. But yeah, there's like the cafeteria in there, and then well, all these people right here, right? And then like more tables there to eat. So I guess that's where the employees eat, which is super cool. The cafeteria is pretty like sci-fi like, I guess. This is like the platform where everything's happening. Pretty darn cool, right? It looks sick. Now I'm all the way in the back, like over there. So I brought a long lens to try and show you guys stuff, but yeah, not ideal. And the donut keeps going, and it just keeps going, and it keeps going, and it's pretty darn cool. Second day of WWDC. Today is going to be a bit different than yesterday. Yesterday was heavily focused on developers, at least on my end. I had different briefs about new Xcode, AI frameworks, and so on, which I found completely cool. I mean, last night, our last brief, I couldn't bring you guys with me, which sucked. But today is a bit different from what I understand. I have 3 experiences. I should be able to bring you guys with me so we can experience those together. I've been to a lot of tech events over the years, CES, Computex, countless product launches, and while every company has fans, right? WWDC felt different. The more time I spent at WWDC, the more I realized this wasn't really a conference about software updates. It was a gathering of people from all over the world who had chosen to build their entire careers inside Apple's world. Take Swift, for example. Apple don't just make the hardware, they don't just make the software, they go as deep as creating the language that powers many of these devices, and it's called Swift. Swift is Apple's modern programming language designed to eventually replace Objective-C, which itself was heavily used throughout Apple's ecosystem for decades. It's actually what got me into development years ago as I was transitioning from embedded systems into high-level languages. And it's what actually made me fall in love with the brand, because to a certain degree, it made me feel like I was part of this religion. And maybe that's why WWDC felt so different, not because Apple is a religion, but because everyone there shared a common language. This year, while developers got access to Apple's Foundation Models framework, allowing them to tap directly into the same on-device AI models that power Apple Intelligence, Xcode received new AI-focused enhancements designed to help developers write and manage code more efficiently. Apple expanded App Intents and Apple Intelligence integrations, making it easier for apps to work with Siri AI and natural language requests across the system. And even the design language itself continued evolving with Liquid Glass, a visual identity that now stretches across the iPhone, iPad, Mac, Watch, Vision Pro, and beyond. WWDC isn't really about software updates, it's about creating an ecosystem so deeply embedded into people's lives that leaving it feels almost unnatural. Steve Jobs may have introduced the iPhone, but Tim Cook scaled it to billions of users around the world. The way this room is made is actually really interesting. Like if you go in the middle and you clap, the echo is absolutely insane. Like if I was to clap from here, you guys wouldn't hear the propagation. Like you wouldn't hear the effect that it actually makes in the way that it echoes. Obviously you have to be in the middle of the room because that's how the noise bounces all equally, because it's a perfect circle, but it's actually really cool. I would clap right now, but yeah, there's people in the middle. Here's what's funny though. After everything I've just told you, I actually don't think that this is the best phone in the world. Obviously. In fact, there are plenty of things about it that drive me absolutely crazy. You see, after using iOS for the past like 2 weeks, I realize some things that annoy me. CarPlay loves to glitch from time to time. The UI is slow, it's unpredictable from car to car, and some apps have a mind of their own. Sharing files also takes forever. I mean, loading them to be prepped to send to another device is so damn slow. Call signal is so much weaker compared to my S26 Ultra and my Oppo Find X9 Ultra. There were multiple times where I was at the airport, in transit, or just even at home where I realized how weak reception was. With iPhone, I hate the fact that I can't use Parsec to connect to my computer at the office. You also can't convert your HDR videos to regular SDR on the phone like the S26 Ultra does. Multitasking on this phone is just also not a thing. I always feel like I'm wasting time trying to manipulate data from app to app. It's annoying. And a proper clipboard is non-existent. I also hate the fact that I can't mix my control center and notifications into one single page like on Android, and honestly, the Files app, my god, it's not intuitive. Example, something as simple as selecting multiple files feels unnecessarily complicated. I can't just hold a file and start selecting others. I have to dig through another menu first. And I could go on and on and on with a list of things that truly suck on iOS. However, most apps are so much more optimized on iPhone. I've got a bit of a conspiracy theory, but I genuinely believe iPhone gets you better engagement on Instagram. Not only because the photo style with the HDR camera on iPhone is trending at the moment, but because I get way better engagement posting stories with the iPhone. Manipulating elements within the UI is also a lot more fluid, so I will say the home screen feels very nice compared to Android, and a lot of other apps I use, whether it's X, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, Google Drive, Superhuman, all these apps, well, they rarely glitch or bug. Apple, although they keep things extremely simple, I must say they do keep their core features working extremely well. And a lot of it has to do also because of their ecosystem. There's this idea that Apple traps people in its ecosystem, and honestly, that's totally true, as I've been there. I've done that. After spending a week around WWDC, I realized something. Most people aren't staying because they're trapped, but mainly because everything around them speaks the same language. AirDrop works because everyone has an iPhone, even though Samsung now supports AirDrop, but anyways, iMessage works because everyone has an iPhone. AirPods seamless switch between devices. Sharing location is intuitive across your family and friends. FaceTiming people is extremely convenient. Mac and iPhone share clipboard, notes sync, password sync, photo sync across all devices. Developers built around the same frameworks, a framework that ties together the MacBook, the iPad, the Apple Watch, AirPods, you name it. In fact, GoodNotes have such a good cross-system integration between the MacBook and the iPad that, well, it makes it so much easier for students to get a workflow going. So developers are able to develop for such ecosystem. And what's interesting is that there's a commonly cited statistic from CIRP that says the average Apple customer owns about 3 Apple devices. 90% own an iPhone, 73% own an iPad, 58% own an Apple Watch, and then to add an extra one, 50% own a Mac. Before you know it, your entire digital life is running through Apple. So Apple isn't all of a sudden just selling you a phone anymore. They're selling you an entire ecosystem. And judging by the fact that many Apple customers own multiple Apple devices, it's a strategy that clearly works. So yeah, I mean, after spending a week at WWDC, I kept asking myself a simple question. Why the hell does iPhone dominate the entire world? Because if we're being honest, Android have caught up. In fact, in some areas, they've surpassed it. Better zoom, better multitasking, foldable phones, more customization, better hardware, and yet millions of people continue buying iPhones every single year. I think most people assume it's because Apple builds the best phone, but I just don't think that's true anymore. Apple managed to do something very few technology companies have ever accomplished. They turned a piece of technology into a status symbol. And that's what WWDC made me realize.